I had an epiphany.
An epiphany?
Yeah. I think that's the relevant term. I was looking at the merchandise you sent down, and for the first time I realised that the pear in reclining pear was spelt as in two, not the fruit. I thought, that's clever, isn't it?
Have you got a Eurosport?
No.
Oh. There's been snooker on this week, and I've not seen any of it. It's one of one of the lesser ones, one of these tournaments that Ronnie O'Sullivan calls the car boot sale tournaments.
Oh, right.
Because he says that there are just fucking people wandering around the whole time.
Well, that's where they all learn how to play in dingy, smoky snooker halls, don't they? They should be used to the distraction.
I'm telling you, Ronnie O'Sullivan has checked out of British snooker completely, and in his head, his spirit place is China. He just wants to go and play in China all the time. Because they pay you loads of money, they treat you like superstars, and he comes back to England, and he's got to qualify to get into the Orangina UK titleship or whatever they call them.
Yeah. Well, I used to drink and play snooker in a snooker club in Tamworth, and there's a guy from Tamworth.
Dave Gilmore.
Not Gilmore. Is it Gilbert? It's Gilbert, isn't it?
Is it Dave Gilbert? Yeah, Dave Gilmore's the guy out of fucking Pink Floyd, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't frequent Tamworth.
No, he's a darts man.
Yeah, he's in the darts place down the road.
Yeah, he was always very good down the darker side of the board.
But we used to go upstairs where all the snooker tables were, and Dave Gilbert had his own snooker table. And you go, you can't go on that table. That's Dave's. And we went in there one time. I think he got to the semi-finals, and he lost to maybe John Higgins, I think, only by a frame in the semi-finals. He did really, really well, and there was a massive banner up that said, "Well done, Dave."
I like watching Dave Gilbert play, because by all accounts, he's always been a bit of a lad,
Yes, yeah, he spent a lot of time on
beer,
people's sofas and stuff like that, and he had to lend money to go into tournaments, and he's good at, his interviews are good after and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, well, I've seen him come at the end of matches where he's losing, and the other players just putting the last couple of balls down, and you can already see him gesturing at someone off camera, telling him to get him a pint in, because he's fucking had enough. But he's settled down now. He's got a missus and a kid and stuff, and he's you can see he's really trying, and sometimes it shows on his face. You can see that he's just crushed, and he just wants to be at the bar.
Snooker's very calming to watch, isn't it? As well.
Yeah. Do you watch Great British Bake Off? That's back on.
No.
Nation Goes Mad.
No, I can't. No. I don't want to talk ill of any.
They've made a change this year. The last couple of years, they've had international rounds where they do bakes from other countries. So they'll have an American round. Americans do massive cakes and but after last year's, they had a Mexican round, and they're all wearing.
They all took kidnappings were. Headless corpses were hung from trees in the garden.
They bundled Prue Leith into the back of a van in the middle of the night. No, but they all had sombreros and ponchos on, and they were just doing the whole, big moustaches shtick all the way through it. And people said, you're doing a bit of the leaning into the racial stereotypes.
I did read a bit about that.
Yeah, but most people just thought it was a bit shit. It was just a bit naff, and people complained about it. So this year they've gone, right, we're not doing that anymore. What, you're not going to do the cheeky stereotypes and stuff? No, we're not doing any international stuff anymore.
No, we're not going to be derogatory about any poor countries.
Yeah.
What?
But it just sounds like, when you point out to your grandma that her comments about the Chinese snooker players aren't really appropriate. And she says, well, right, that's fine. I won't say anything then. I'll just sit here and say nothing, and I won't even breathe. I won't even breathe, and I'll turn blue and I'll die, and then you'll all be sorry. It's like, no, we don't mean that. Just do it better. Just be better.
Just keep the racism when you go out to the market on the Tuesday with your mates.
But I mean, Cliff Thorburn was a bit exotic for my nana's taste in snooker players.
Oh, well, he used to be, he was a pool hustler, wasn't he, before he became a professional snooker player?
Oh, was he?
Yeah. He had a really interesting sort of backstory before. He's Canadian, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Before he started playing snooker, he was all about money, pool halls, hustles, and that came across a little bit in his snooker play. It was a bit wild sometimes.
Ah, no, I didn't know that about him.
Yeah. But all your Canadian snooker players, your Thorburns, your Bill Werberdick.
Bill Werberdick.
Yeah. His pants used to split, didn't he? And he used to drink like a good 27 pints during a game and stuff like that.
He drank 70 cans of lager during one tournament.
Yeah, and then he said something like, "Now I'm off to the bar for a proper drink."
Yeah. I think it was in Germany.
There's been a few documentaries about them, haven't they? Like Kings of Snooker and stuff like that.
That was the BBC one, wasn't it? It was brilliant, that.
Yeah. Because there's a complaint that there's not the personalities in snooker as much anymore. But, we've got Ronnie and that's enough, isn't it?
There's no personalities in snooker anymore, but at the same time, shut up and do as you're told.
There was that story that Steve Davis used to tell where Alex Higgins was told that he needed to become more healthy, else he was going to die quite soon. So he was dropping a large tablespoon of honey into his pints of lager at the side. And Steve Davis said it would float up and down like a lava lamp. Said it was really distracting. He said he got his eye down for a shot and all he could see was this honey bobbing up and down in Alex Higginson's beer.
Right, well, let's get on. The first thing we're going to talk about is if anybody out there likes the Marvel films with Thor and likes a bit of Norse mythology, we're going to talk about Ragnarok on Netflix, which is in Norwegian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Norwegian, subtitled, and it's not set in mythological times. It's set in modern day. But I think you know a little bit about this, don't you? Is the idea with North mythology that the cycles of the history keep going round again? They keep starting again and going round and round and round. And that's what Ragnarok is. I think Ragnarok's supposed to be the end of it all, and then the cycle starts again.
Yeah.
The kid isn't actually Thor, is he? He's a kid who's instilled with the powers of Thor.
Yeah, by the old lady.
By an old lady who works in the spa.
Yeah.
Not the health spa. But, yes, the actual spa grocery store at the end of your street.
Yeah, because before I started watching it, you told me, you said it's really interesting, and the character of Odin is a man in a wheelchair that smokes heavily, and his wife works in this local spa. Yeah. So I was really excited when I saw him. I thought, that must be Odin,
Yeah, well, he's got an eye patch, hasn't he? So it's the people have the ancient powers of the original heroes, don't they? And they're the kind of good guys. And the local rich industrial family who own a chemicals plant or something, don't they, that's been poisoning the water, they're instilled with the powers of the giants.
Beasts.
Yeah, the frost giants or something.
Yeah, and he's installed with these powers, isn't he? And then he befriends a girl that he's working out that this family are poisoning the water supply into this beautiful sort of town in the middle of the Norwegian mountains.
Yeah.
But they're a strange family, aren't they? They don't exactly sort of blend into the background, especially the father figure. Well, the mother's a head teacher at the local school, isn't she?
Yeah, you would describe them as a very impressive looking family, aren't they? They're all very beautiful and statuesque. But yeah.
Well, the dad especially, he tends to wear a lot of black. He says to slick his hair back. If he couldn't look more like sort of a villainous family, the head of a villainous family, if he tried, could he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something a bit sort of, it's not, but it's a little bit sort of Addams Family about them. This sort of strange family up on the top hillside.
Yeah. There's Richard Osmond pointed something out on Twitter. He said there, I'm loving Ragnarok. It's fantastic, but why do all the kids go to the same school? Because the children of this incredibly wealthy family, go to this normal town high school and slum it with all the normal kids that are poor, don't they?
Yeah.
He said they'd go off to some fucking fancy school somewhere.
There's a planet trying to blend in. The daughter's an interesting character. And the guy who plays Ragnarok, he's moved there from another town, hasn't he? And he's a single parent family with his mum. And his brother's a really interesting character as well, because I think I'm up to about 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah.
And his brother's very different from him, but he sort of ebbs and flows about whether you think he's a decent person or not. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's got the Loki thing going on, hasn't he?
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
He's kind of got the Loki
sort of,
mischievous kind of, you can't figure him out.
And this is not being derogatory about it at all. It's something that reminded me of, in the school settings, where it's looking around and there's certain characters that come in and out, and you think, are these part of it? Are these not part of it? So you got a school and he's trying to suss things out, and it reminded me a little bit of like, have you heard of like the Twilight films?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that was set in a school setting, and obviously we got like vampires and werewolves in that. But there's sort of this undercurrent of who's with who's siding with who. And what's
definitely.
Really going on.
I can see
and
that.
It works quite well, as they're coming in and out of school and stuff like that, or they're in the school canteen. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the reason I took to it straight away was the young lad, Thor in it, Magna he's called, isn't he?
Yeah.
He just reminded me of a lad that we went to college with called Rob.
I see that a little bit. I see there's a little bit of Rob Fox.
He was just kind of surly to start with, wasn't he? And, he didn't particularly mix well with others, kept himself to himself. Big, strong lad as well at the same time. And the first time you find out that he's developing powers, he just gets this fucking lump hammer, doesn't he? And just throws it and it disappears over the horizon. You think he didn't know that was going to happen. It could have just gone 50 foot and through someone's windscreen. He didn't know he was going to throw it up into the mountains.
Starts writing things down, like what he can do, how fast he can get, how far for a hammer, doesn't he? And then how fast he can get from this point to that point. And then it slowly starts to drip feed out that he boasts about it. It's like, I can throw a hammer 54 kilometres. So he tells me, because that's nice.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's you wouldn't say it was aimed at kids. It's not a kids thing, is it? But it's not super violent, and it's not, there's not a lot of bad language in it. They keep it quite fun, don't they? Yeah,
the environmental side of it, of looking into the poisoning of the water supply and that family and stuff, it's got a good storyline, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what they've chosen to play out the battles on. That's the arena, isn't it? It's the sort of working people that live in the town versus the giants of local industry that are poisoning the water and getting away with whatever they like. So it's a big guy versus little guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is kind of good because, giants versus mortals, it works with it. The giants, the posh family that live on the hill, that's got to be life goals, that, hasn't it? How they spend their days up there in that house. Just
when they invite them round to dinner,
they drink mead. All they do is drink mead out of horns and throw axes around.
Yeah, it looked like a best dinner party you could have.
It just looked amazing.
His mum has a go at her, doesn't she, for getting her son drunk and all this sort of stuff.
When we have people around in the summer for drinks and stuff, first thing Karen says is, put all the axes away.
Yeah.
Not you're like once you lot have had a drink.
Yeah, it's for the
but
best.
No, they fucking love it in this. But just horns of mead and axes. I didn't see the telly on once. Yeah. It's very good. How long are they? They're about 45 minutes, aren't they, each?
Yeah, just right.
Cool.
That's right.
So that's Ragnarok, and it's all on Netflix.
Woman in the Wall.
Woman in the Wall. Where to begin?
BBC iPlayer. I think it's a 6-part series. I think maybe there might be an hour long, but it's set in West Island in 2015. And the women of the town, a lot of them have spent some time in one of these Magdalene laundries, haven't they? And not just the Magdalene, but the mother and baby units of the Magdalene laundries, which were obviously set up by the Catholic Church to take in women and children that, young women that had children out of wedlock and so on, and educate them and in many cases take their babies away.
Yeah.
And find new homes somewhere else completely for them, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. They were shipping them. Some of them, they were shipping them overseas and all sorts, weren't they?
Yeah, basically human trafficking, weren't they?
Human trafficking, yeah.
Accepting donations, but these were large amounts of money being paid for children, and then forging false death certificates so their mothers could never really trace them. They make a point, don't they, by saying, these laundries weren't set up, in medieval times or 100 or 50 years ago. The last one was shut down. She says the last one was shut down when the Macarena was in the charts in 1997, which is like just mind blowing, isn't it? But the main character, you follow her trying to track down her daughter, what happened to her daughter when her daughter was taken off her at one of these laundries. And again, we've been through this before, haven't we? It's the same sort of setup that seems to work every time. You have a local policeman in the local village, and they bring in sort of a big shot modern day policeman from Dublin, because there's been a priest murdered in Dublin, and the priest had connections to this small village. So you've got the sort of, the local guy and the new guy, and
there's usually a bit of a young go-getter, aren't they? The new detective they bring in.
Yeah, he was in Bad Sisters in the same sort of role, wasn't he?
He was.
They used this in North Sea Connection, and we've talked about it in like The Guard as well. They did it, didn't they? But
yeah. Well, the thing with Bad Sisters was Daryl McCormack, the guy that's in Woman in the Wall, he was in Bad Sisters, and in Bad Sisters, he was in that with Anne-Marie Duff, and Anne-Marie Duff was in the film of the Magdalene Sisters.
Oh, okay.
So it's all kind of connected.
Yeah. Saw a few faces I recognised. Mary was in it from Motherland and stuff as well, wasn't she?
Yes, yeah.
But it was the main woman that you follow. She has... when she does fall asleep, which is very rare, she tends to sleepwalk while carrying an axe. And there's some really sort of creepy scenes. I thought it was almost like as creepy as Seven sometimes, because you can't tell whether she was sleepwalking, whether she was dreaming. So you get these moments that you're watching and you're not sure whether this is actually happening or it's part of her imagination or she's doing it while she's sleepwalking. There's some really creepy moments in it.
Yeah, there's the scene where she's caught on camera at night, and she's walking down the street animated by something that isn't consciousness. She's just kind of lurching along, isn't she, with this axe? Yeah. But she's so sort of driven at the same time that you do think that she looks possessed, doesn't she?
Yeah. But the modern day, up-to-date, trendy copper guy from Dublin, it turns out that he was part of he was one of these adopted children who went to a foster home and had a really nice, better upbringing. But he has these flashbacks and memories of when he was in one of these places as well. So he's like determined to find out what happened to this woman's child and what happened to there was about 300 children that sort of went through one of these laundries, didn't they? And were processed.
Just in that story.
But I was going to say, obviously it's very dark subject matter, and we could talk about it for about 2 hours and probably not give it justice, because it's quite a complex issue, wasn't it, with the Catholic Church doing this? And it was hinted at that maybe at the time some of the priests and some of the people involved were thinking they were doing the right thing, but in general they must have known that they weren't. I found that in each episode, even though, like I say, it was very dark subject matter, there'd be one particular joke thrown in to lighten the mood. I don't know if you noticed it. Like in the very first one, there was he goes, "Oh, we've got to go and interview that guy up on the hill." And he goes, "I don't want to go." He says, "Why not?" He says, "I had to arrest him a few months ago for hitting a police horse in the face, punching a police horse in the face." And he said, "He hit a police horse in the face." He said, "Yeah, it was all a massive misunderstanding. The police horse was off duty at the time." But every episode there was like a Father Ted line in it, like that. Yeah. There was two women where they were discussing the cakes as well, and one said, "Oh, I wouldn't have one of her cakes, they're shit." And the woman turns to her and goes, "You've been eating my cakes for 40 years. And she goes, "Yeah, so I'd know if they're shit or not, wouldn't I?" But yeah,
there's loads of little brilliant bits of conversation. I loved the woman that worked in the shop. The
the petrol station.
Yeah, the really spiky one who was just had obviously had an awful time of it, and it just showed right through her, didn't it?
Yeah,
but she had some really good lines in it as well.
Yeah, she had some great lines, but there were moments when they were individually telling
what they went through,
their experiences. and the acting. I don't know who played the main woman as well, but she was brilliant.
Ruth
And the
Wilson.
acting and the acting got you. Like you felt emotionally involved with it as well. That's what I took away from that. To be able to do that and make you feel part of the pain that some of these women went through.
Yeah.
It's
Well, the ending stuck with me.
really powerful stuff.
The ending stuck with me for quite a while because I thought, it ends up. At first, you think, well, you can't really call that a happy ending because she's going to prison. But then at the very end, the younger detective comes in and says, "I've managed to track your daughter down." And they set up like a thing like this, don't they? A Teams talk, and that's when it finishes. She just says, "Ah, yeah," to her daughter, and then it cuts off, and you think, well, that is a happy ending because she'd rather be in prison, having found a daughter, than be out of prison and still be in the dark about what happened to a child. Yeah. So it is about as happy an ending as you could hope for.
You didn't need anything more than that. You didn't need to see her daughter or anything like that. No. You just need to know that she had contact with her.
If anyone out there hasn't heard of it by now, then you've been living in a hole because it's been all over everything, but it's as good as everybody says.
Quiz time.
And because it's a taste test...
Am I allowed to open the envelope?
Yes, you can open the envelope now. The mystery sealed envelope. The quiz wheel is back.
It's got a slash in the middle of it. Ooh, sweets.
Sweets. Don't know if you can see Slash's beautiful hat that he's got on there.
Is that a licorice allsort?
It's a licorice allsort hat. There's 8 sweets and 8 colours, rather than our usual 6 test.
I can only promise you I could eat one from each bag.
Yes, that's all I will ask from you. But I've used Slash because Guns N' Roses. Did you know that Guns N' Roses have the sweetest teeth of any rockers?
I didn't know that.
Famously addicted to sweet, sugary treats. Oof. Got some notes. Sweet Child of Mine was penned after a particularly wild tour bus bender in 1988 when the band built a giant toddler out of cola cubes. In 1990, Axl Rose ate so many flumps he was unable to get off the toilet for 5 days, which inspired him to cover the Bob Dylan song Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Cool.
Yeah. Slash visited the doctor in 2008 complaining of sinus pain, and after an x-ray, surgeons removed a jelly top from his nasal cavity that had been there since 1986.
New jelly tops was coming. I just knew it. I knew it. It was coming in that particular sentence.
So what we're going to do, we're going to spin the wheel and land on colour, and you're going to try and tell me what flavour the sweet is.
Oh.
It's as simple as that.
That's very simple. And obviously the colour of the sweet is usually a strong indicator of the flavour.
Yes, but not in this case. Should we go straight into it and give him a spin?
Yeah.
Have you got some water with you?
I've got a drink, yeah. Be all right.
You're going to need that.
Do I need a spittoon?
Possibly. I would say that some of them, the real good stuff that you're trying to get to might be in the centre, which might not make this the most exciting quiz that we've ever done as we record you eating a boiled sweet for 10 minutes.
And there's 9 bags.
Right, I'm going to give him a spin.
Is that a new spinning disc, or is it a resurrection of an old one?
It's the old one, but with, obviously, a new facade.
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah. Orange. And in the orange bag is a purple sweet. Ooh. Blackcurrant, straight away. It's got to be.
Is it just blackcurrant?
No.
We'll have a chat about sweets in general while you enjoy these.
And licorice.
Oh, outstanding! You got it.
Yeah, used to eat a lot of those when we worked at a church digging up bodies. True story.
When you did what? Digging up bodies?
Yeah, we were digging out an old toilet block to bring a level down for disabled access, and the archaeologist said you might find the odd body, and we found about 33.
Fucking hell! Can I just say you can ditch that if you want to now?
I don't want to. I really like these.
All right, okay then. Carry on. 33 bodies.
Yeah. You got to realise when you found a section that all bodies, Christian burials, are buried east to west. So if the person was to sit up, they'd be looking at the rising sun in the east.
Ah.
But if they were, if they'd done something bad, or committed suicide, they'd be purposely buried the other way.
Or if the groundskeeper was a bit hungover on the day that you got put in the ground.
Yeah. But where we were digging 100 years ago, it had all been dug out to build like an extension to like a vestry. So builders had been in 100 years ago and disturbed a lot of these bodies and hadn't been as careful as we were modern day and just threw a lot of bits back in. So I remember coming home one day and Karen said to me, "How was your day at work?" And I'd found 4 separate skulls that day. Well, a bit different, I suppose, isn't it?
Fucking hell.
Right, orange has been done. Blackcurrant and licorice.
Right, let's give Slash another twirl. I'm crossing them off as I go. Grey.
Oh, grey. So that's a yellow sweet. Ooh. Quite small. My initial guess would be some sort of lemon sherbet.
Could be
difficult to get out the wrapper.
What colour was that? Grey.
Oh no, grey.
What's happening with that one?
Not a nice taste to start with. Oh, is this a joke one?
Is it funny?
It's like garlic. That's garlic, isn't it?
Not according to my notes. Oh, if you spat it back into the same bag, you can't give any to the kids now.
I don't want to give them a garlic sweet. They'd throw it at me.
No, it was actually cheese, that one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it smelled bad, but then it tasted like garlic.
Ooh.
Cheesy boiled sweets.
What a time to be alive.
Oh, that's a bad one.
You could never have dreamed of that as a kid, though.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty nasty.
You've had a drink anyway. Let's plough on to the next one. Pink.
Oh, pink. Oh, now these look like the simple. These look like the humbug. That's the humbug.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Correct. Classic mint humbug.
The Everton mints are black and white stripes, aren't they?
Yeah, the Everton ones are.
Similar. It's good.
I'm going to let you have a little bit of a longer go on that one because it'll take the taste of the previous one out of your mouth.
It's a classic. The humbug. It's just it oozes quality.
They're a good car, solid car sweet, aren't they?
Solid car sweet. Oh, I've got to get rid of that cheese one. Right.
Do you want to ditch the humbug and we'll spin again?
I'm going to go back to that.
Wait, to what side?
Yeah. What are we on next?
Red.
Oh, red, green. I'm hoping these are apple.
Well, could be.
These are going to be chive or something, aren't they?
Chive in a sweet? No.
Oh, I can just tell by this.
I'd get it eaten.
Can't.
Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. None of them can harm you in any way.
And I'm not a queasy person, but that tastes as bad as the cheese one.
Just hold your nose and that's it. Go on.
Yeah, that's onion or garlic, isn't it?
It's not. We're going back to the soup one, the soup round where you thought everything was chicken.
It's some sort of smelly vegetable.
It wasn't. It was actually soap.
Oh, right. Well, we have nothing in the house but garlic soap. Was that so?
Yeah, soap flavour. You'll have to keep some of these and, like we're going to do, put them in the bowl for the kids when they come round on Halloween.
Oh,
they won't be round. Terrible. They won't be round the following year. Yellow.
Oh, yellow bag. Now these look like grapes.
Oh, perhaps they are.
Now I can't.
Straight in.
Oh, they are. Wow. I'm partial to a sour Haribo, but that was like.
Well, apparently the sour only lasts for 20 seconds. I think you managed about 4.
Yeah, that was painfully sour. Yeah.
They really are. They're by a company called, I think they're called Barnett's.
You did really well there, but that is have you tried one yourself?
Yeah. Me and Karen both had one, and our faces turned inside out.
Yeah, that is something else. That is, isn't
terrific,
it?
Aren't they? The flavour, not that there is any, but it's supposed to be plum.
Yeah, of course. It's
purple.
Purple bag, red sweets. Not bad.
Has it got a centre, or is it too hard to tell yet?
Oh, tastes like rock. If you go Blackpool rock.
Oh, I'm bitterly disappointed with that. That's supposed to be fish flavour.
In the purple bag?
Yeah. It's supposed to be fish flavour, that.
Oh, it's coming through a bit now.
Would you say it's like a white fish or an oily fish?
Or like a mackerel.
Like bird of crabe.
But bearable. Bit psychological, because as soon as you said fish, then that's when I could taste it. Otherwise, I got in my mind that it was rock.
Right, last one. Do you want to do blue? There's only one left. Should be an easy one for you.
Oh, have I done green?
Oh, hang on. Oh, no. What colour's that?
Blue.
It's blue. You've not done green, have you? No, I've made a right fucking pig's ear of this.
Just your quality lemon.
It is. No, it is. It's a lemon sherbet.
Yeah, that's refreshing. That's nice after the fish.
Well, green, I guess, is the last one to do.
I think, on the balance of what's come before, I'm imagining this one's going to be disgusting.
Well, you brought up green. I'd forgotten about it. I thought we were ending on a nice, pleasant sherbet lemon.
Yeah, you're giving a few clues away there.
Oh, he's going in. Straight in. Come on, last one.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, it's something like, it's holiday. It's mosquito repellent. It's citronella.
Is it? Deet.
It's 100% deet this sweet. Oh, yeah, bit into it. Yeah, that's mosquito repellent.
It's not what I've got on my card.
I'm telling you. It's 100% deet.
Soap. That was the one that was soap. You go back to your lemon sherbet.
Back to the original humbug.
Oh, back to the comfort of the humbug. Well, I think you got all the ones that you could be expected to, all the straightforward ones, so 50-50.
Yeah.
4 right, 4 wrong. But I would say, hand them sours out to your family for hilarious results.
Yeah, well, I'll try Jude with one of them. He'd like that.
What sort of sweets do you enjoy normally? I think I've reverted back to the childhood thing of chews. I like a fruit chew these days.
Oh, I don't buy sweets myself. I tend to pick up what Rose gets.
Yeah.
She's big on Skittles. So the purple Skittles.
I quite like a Skittle.
And Haribo, you can't get past them, really.
Love the fruit chewy Haribos, the ones where you get the little pinballs, the little 3 round ones like marble sized.
Oh, yeah.
You get 3 of them and you pop the plastic and it's so satisfying. And the sticks, the fruit sticks and the cola flavoured ones, they're great. I think it stems back from Chewits.
Yeah, you don't see banana Chewits. They were nice.
Yeah, they're obsolete now, aren't they? They used to give, when I was a kid in Barrow, they used to give Chewits out in schools to try and get vitamins into the kids. They did.
That's a true story.
Yeah, do you not remember the Chewits, chewier than Barrow in Furness bus depot? 90% of all Chewits was Barrow Council buying them up and piping them into schools because we had the highest rate of rickets in the country. Some of the
Chewits will fix it.
Some of the kids have been born with hooves.
It will cure their rickets and then all their teeth will drop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starburst. Tried that. I had some of them the other day and they were a bit of a letdown.
Oh, no, I've not eaten them since they changed the name, but I didn't like them as opal fruits. They just tasted like if you got orange cordial and just boiled it and boiled it and boiled it until you just ended up with a solid nugget, and like a pellet of orange.
Chemical nastiness.
Yeah.
Blackcurrant fruitellas, they're quite decent. You know the ones I mean?
I don't mind a fruitella. I always think they're almost creamy. You don't get like a big fruity hit like you do with the fruit Haribo ones that are a bit soft.
They're a bit milky, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit milky.
The old fruitellas.
Okay, the following events are based on a pack of lies, which was that on ITV?
It was.
Or was it on the Beeb?
It was BBC again,
Was it?
I think.
I can't remember now. Which was a good old-fashioned con man story, wasn't it? With Rebecca Stanton, who used to be in Pulling.
And the other one out of the Mighty Boosh that isn't Noel Fielding.
Julian Barrett.
Husband, but a smaller role, isn't he?
Julian
so...
Rebecca Stanton, who plays Alice, whose husband fucked off about 10 years ago, didn't he? And took all the family's money after getting them to invest in various schemes, dropped off the face of the earth, left them all with absolutely nothing, broke her heart, broke the family's heart. She, eventually she's putting her life back together, it seems like, doesn't it? And then she's walking down the street one day and she sees her ex-husband stroll by.
I think he's at a lecture hall where he's doing
Oxford or somewhere.
He's doing he does motivational speaking, doesn't he? Because he's set himself up as an adventurer, and head of some sort of environmental body charity.
Yeah, he's calling himself Doctor now, and he's marking himself as almost like a sort of a Bear Grylls sort of character.
Yeah,
isn't he?
like a posh Bear Grylls. And she follows him, and she wants to go and confront him, but she's obviously still scared of him, isn't she? And scared of the power that he has over her. So she sort of views him from afar, and she sees him to start sort of groom this very well-to-do, successful author that's been writing books similar to sort of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Game of Thronesy type things, aren't they?
Yeah. So, and there are a couple of moments where you think, just go up and fucking say something to him. But she's, you get the feeling that she just hasn't got it in her. She wants to, and she wants to be ballsy. Well, she wants to do that, but he still has some power.
Yeah, she keeps replaying in her head all the things that he said to her back at the time, which were, no one will believe you. They're all going to say you're mad. You're hysterical. And she just hears all these voices that they've just ground her down to nothing, haven't they? And she's got no confidence or anything. But she goes and she tells her dad, and kind of gets her dad on side. And between them, because her dad sunk all his money into the scheme that he stole when he fucked off. Between them, they start following him, start monitoring him, don't they, to try and they're waiting for him to do something to expose himself that they can then take to the police.
Into the police, and they say you can't do it. You've got nothing on him. You need some solid evidence. It's not illegal to change your name.
Yeah.
And she's looking into his adventuring stuff on social media and realising that he's photoshopped himself in front of like Mount Everest and stuff like that.
Oh, he's never even been up a fucking ladder, is he? Never mind the North Pole.
But this lady that he's now trying to con, this author, she invests in some sort of student programs.
Yeah.
And he's saying that, he'll put some money to these sort of apprenticeships and so on.
Yeah, scholarships, aren't they?
Scholarships. The lady that plays the author, she's really good as well.
Yeah.
And you see him slowly manipulate her,
gaslighting
against her friends, against her family. It looks like he might be drugging her. He's always passing a drink to her, getting a drink in her hand, isn't he, as well? And she had a husband that died sort of pretty recently, within a year or so. And he's sort of pulling the emotional heartstrings and stuff and slowly worming his way in while his ex is watching him and waiting for a time to sort of pounce on him.
And it starts off, you think it's going to be a little bit madcap, don't you? Because the first time you meet this guy, he's at an event, he's at a book publishing or something, and they're outside this stately home and there's a stage and all the lights are on and stuff. And there's a scene of him abseiling down from the roof to make a big entrance, and it kind of, in a sort of some mothers do have a moment on the way down, he gets tipped upside down, doesn't he? And he's got a kilt on, so his bare ass is hanging out, and you think, okay, I've got the measure of this now. It's going to be a little bit quirky and a bit daft, but it goes really fucking dark, doesn't it, with the guy?
Yeah.
He's just, at first you think, he's, a bit of a scoundrel, bit of a charming type. He's not. He's just fucking horrible.
Yeah, she tries to turn him down to start with, doesn't she, the author?
Yeah.
And all he does, he goes to a next book signing, kidnaps a dog, puts it in a bag and just fucks it in a lake. And luckily he was being followed by his ex, wasn't he? He rescues the dog.
He goes out into the lake and opens this bag and this poor fucking poodle's in it. But then, he's so clever because the ex returns the dog, and then Matey Boy comes back to the writer's house, and she says, look, the dog's back, someone returned it. And he immediately, without a second's thought, switches it and says, do you not think that she could have taken it just to claim to have found it, to try and get money out of you or something? I bet she wants something.
I remember you saying, the last episode does go a bit wayward, and it does go a bit mental and crazy, but in in a good way. But it's it gets you hooked, because from the very start, when you realise that he's done that to that woman, you're looking for him to get his comeuppance, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. That's why you're watching, really, because you're thinking between her, if she can get this author to believe that he's a bastard as well, and a number of other people that have lent him money, you're desperate. That's what keeps you going. You're desperate to see him, be destroyed. Really good drama, funny in places, a bit of a thriller. It's got a bit of everything, really.
I'll tell you what the feeling reminded me of, the sort of the way it sometimes jumps between very light and very dark moments. There was a thing on Channel 4 called The End of the Fucking World.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? It reminded me...
Yeah, that was... I love the first series a lot. The second series was good, but not quite as good. But the girl and the lad in that, they were brilliant. That was really, really good, End of the Fucking World. Yeah, but that was really different at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was dark when they broke into that paedophile's house and just happened to find all the evidence of what he'd done there, and then he came back.
It's just fucking really random, wasn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, she got that lad to run away, and then she began to realise that she was mad, wasn't she? But then she began to realise that the boy that she convinced to run away with her was an absolute fucking psychopath.
Time to talk about what we've been wetting our whistles with next.
Oh, brilliant.
Actually, a few of mine are cherry flavoured, so I've got a little thing for you at the beginning, a little piece on cherries throughout history.
Nice, like it.
Okay, cherries were invented by the Greeks in the 3rd century BC.
That's an unknown fact, that is, isn't it?
This has all come off the internet.
Right, yeah. Who knew fruit could be invented?
1775, George Washington gets into a right cob on when Thomas Jefferson burns down Benjamin Franklin's cherry tree, triggering the War of Independence.
I covered that in history, I remember that.
1988, Nena Cherry has a number 3 smash hit with her song Buffalo Stance. Despite her name, Nena Cherry is actually allergic to cherries.
Who'd have thought? The irony.
Who'd have thought? 9 years later, her brother Eagle Eye Cherry would have a hit with Save Tonight. Despite his name, Eagle Eye Cherry isn't allergic to cherries. He just doesn't like them. He's just not bothered.
He's indifferent.
To them. In America, they have the International Cherry Pit Spitting Championship. The world record has been held since 2004, when Bernice Fulcrum from Michigan spat a cherry stone 162 metres into the left ear of a passing ladder salesman.
162 metres, you say? Yeah. There must have been a passing wind.
So, yes, booze. Shall we start with the most almighty of all the cherry drinks?
Cherry B.
Cherry B.
It's got to be. Cherry B. I remember this at family Christmas parties and stuff, and I can't remember if I ever drank it when I was young.
I didn't.
But I purchased 4 bottles and had a good look at the bottles, and they're 11.5%, 200 millilitres. They're like little mini wines, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's Cherry B. It's a cherry wine, but it's the strength of a wine as well, 11.5%. But then I tried drinking one on its own, and it was possibly the sweetest liquid I'd ever tasted in my life. So I had 2 litres of sparkling water. So I was pouring the cherry bee into a pint glass and topping the other half pint up with sparkling water. And I had a great time. I really, it's like drinking like a bottle of wine, basically, isn't it, if you have 4 of them?
It's so sweet that we have a guy who sits out the back of our Londis getting drunk on cough syrup. And I offered him one, and he said, it's too sweet for me.
Yeah. He politely refused.
Yeah. I thought, after the last time we did this and you talked about Babycham with just the best stories, I thought I was going to do the same. So I looked up where this stuff's made from. Well, first of all, I tried searching it on the internet. Nothing about it anywhere.
No, same. I looked myself and had a good. There wasn't the.
All you find when you search it on the internet is other truth seekers also saying that they couldn't find anything about it on the internet. It's like there's an entire subculture of people who want to know more about Cherry B, but it will not be discovered. So I emailed the place that makes it or bottles it, which they're called something like Prestige Wines or something.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you go on their website and there's no fucking mention of Cherry B anywhere. It's the disappointing son they don't talk about,
And the email bounced straight back.
Yeah.
Failure of Damon notice.
So yeah, it's
nothing.
like it's landed from fucking outer space, this drink. But it is incredibly sweet.
But when you're saying that, you're thinking, and people listening might think that eventually you found out that, but there is nothing you can't find anything on them, can you? There is nothing out there.
It's an absolute fucking Mulder and Scully mystery.
Yeah.
But it says on the bottle you can have it. You mixed it with fizzy water. It says you can mix it with lemonade. Well, another one of the cherry things I got you couldn't get hold of it, could you? Cherry Lambrini.
No. I did look in 2 B&Ms and couldn't find it.
We both had a small glass of it on its own, and it didn't even taste like Cherryade. It's not got that cough sweet kind of taste. It just tastes like a fizzy fruity pop. Just very slight cherryness to it. But what I did was, instead of using lemonade with the Cherry B, I used the Cherry Lambrini with the Cherry
double
B.
cherry. Double cherry.
Double cherry in it. And what it ends up as being is a slightly sparkling but strangely adult tasting drink. The two sweet things seem to cancel each other out. And I'm telling you, if people aren't drinking this by Christmas...
I drink Guinness, and I think with Cherry B, you could tip it in a pint. Yeah. Not all of it, but you tip some of it in a pint of Guinness just to give it a bit of a... because people have Guinness and black, don't they, and stuff like that. Yeah. So it'd be like quite a little potent pint of Guinness, I think, with some of that.
Well, you could use a vase and put 2 cans of Guinness in and a full bottle of Cherry B.
Yeah. Or you could pour this into Didn't people used to pour a little bit into snowballs? So there was like a red trickle into a snowball. Remember that? No, not into Advocaat and things like that. I'm sure perhaps there's a cocktail with Advocaat and Cherry B.
I think what you're thinking of is the
trifle.
Yeah, trifle. Or the kind of places where they used to serve drinks like that. It'd be someone bleeding into the drink.
Yeah.
And the last thing I got, which I thought afterwards I could have put this in with it and done the triple cherry. Cherry Chewf.
Oh, yeah, I saw that in the picture.
The Belgian beer.
Yeah, what was that like?
It's beautiful. I mean, you'd only want one because it's, the very strong, these Chewf or Chuff or whatever the hell it's called, Belgian beers. But
I've been to Bruges twice, where apparently if you go to Bruges, it's all about drinking these Trappist monks beers and all this sort of stuff. But the both times I've gone, I've just drank their draft stuff, which was called Jupiler, which was 5%, but it was just like their version of Carlin.
It sounds like a paint chart.
And we'd be surrounded by like beatniks and well, not beatniks. What are they called? People with beards.
I know what you mean.
Anyway, I can't think of their name, but surrounded by sort of people there that were quite sort of poncy about, you can't drink the draft in Bruges, you have to drink the Trappist monks beer. But all they taste like was super. They're paying huge amounts of money for
soup.
Yeah, no soup, as in like Carlsberg.
Super,
yeah, like
or Gold Label. Do you remember Gold Label?
Yeah. Like, and they all just taste like that. So you can be like, it can be 100 years old or made up a mountain by 2 monks, and you think it's just like fizzy gravy. I'm not coming out here just to drink fucking supers for the whole weekend. Do you know what I mean? And
you only get them in a small glass as well, so I'm going to be sat there angry and thirsty.
Yeah. I can drink a Leffy every so often.
I like a Leffy blonde.
If it's on offer somewhere, yeah. That leads us on to. Did you try Fax? Did you try the Fax in the big can?
I did.
It was quite.
Do you want to?
It was quite.
Talk to our listeners about the can first.
Oh yeah, so I think the can that I picked up happened to be like a collector's item, and it had some really lovely sort of Viking-based art on the side. And on one of the sides was a Viking drinking what looked like Fax. It must have been Fax, a beer out of a huge wooden bucket, and he's holding this bucket above his head and tipping what looks like this sort of raucous river of Fax into his mouth. And I think underneath it should have said serving suggestion.
Yeah,
but
or drink responsibly.
And then on the other side of the can was a man about to be shot in the face with an arrow. So it's a brilliant can. But as far as the beer went itself, the beer's quite ordinary, isn't it? It tastes a bit like Tuborg or...
I thought it tasted like cigarette ash.
Oh, that's nice. And as you pointed out, it's a big sort of litre can.
Yeah, it's a huge can.
With a very small ring pull. So the top of the can looks like, you called it industrial waste, didn't you? No,
it looks like you should be moving chemicals around in it.
Trolled up out the North Sea.
But by the time, I remember... it takes forever to get through as well. And I decided more or less by the end of it that you're not supposed to enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's a Nordic rite of passage thing. I think when children come of age in Norway, I think they're given a can of Fax and a pointed stick and sent off into the woods.
But I did
to kill a troll.
Did you notice that a few next to it on the shelf is Fax 10% in a black can? Did you see any of them in beer?
Same size can.
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell no! Yeah. Not going near that.
Because most supers are 9%, aren't they? But this is 10% Fax black can.
Jesus.
And I thought, well, the 5% stuff doesn't taste too good. But yeah, the artwork on the side, I've kept that can. I look at it when I open the garage and go into the garage now. It's the Viking drinking out of a bucket. It stares at me, and I think, ooh,
it smelled.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, it smelled like Karen and I went to Prague a few years ago, and I think it was my birthday. It was either my birthday or she just got this thing as a treat. But we went to a beer spa. And you go in this little room with a pile of hay in the corner in case, after being steeped in beer for an hour, you're feeling amorous. And there's basically they're like big wooden baths. If you go to B&M in the summer, they have these big round planters that look like half barrels.
Yeah.
And they're about $6.99. Imagine a giant one of them with beer pumps on the side so you can constantly top your own beer up. And they come in occasionally with beer bread for you as well. And you submerge yourself in this hot tank of water that's full of hops.
Oh, okay.
So it becomes this kind of hoppy, sweaty stew full of, bits of skin and stuff floating around in it.
Nice.
That's what Fax smells like.
You took me on a long walk then, and I forgot what we were going on about.
It was just weird. We kept looking around at this pile of hay in the corner with a blanket on top that's, clearly for rutting if you feel so inclined after all your skins come off. It was good fun. We had a good laugh, and in my youth, when I was in better shape, I would probably have enjoyed it more because free limitless beer is brilliant. But being sort of mid-40s and very out of shape, I was just sat there like a boiled egg for sweating and nah.
Yeah, you have to be in the right mood to enjoy.
I would recommend it to anyone because it's one of the most bizarre things that probably either of us have ever done. Certainly that I have.
And the smell,
simmering in hot beer for an hour.
That takes me neatly onto. I bought a white cider from B&M.
Ooh.
Now,
was it in a can?
It's Crumpton Oaks Black.
Oh. And
it was in a 2-litre bottle, of which I've had a very small glass at the top and won't be drinking any more. But it took me back. It took me back to when I used to drink it when 18, 19, when I was in the 90s. And when I met you, I was still drinking it then. We used to drink white cider, didn't we?
Pulse.
Yes, that was one of them.
White cider with rhythm.
Now, I've turned the tables on you a little bit. I've got you a little white cider quiz.
Oh.
Okay, it's only 10, but I'll give you the first.
10? Fucking hell.
No, it's a quick fire one. I'll give you the first word of a brand of white cider, and you can see if you can give me the second one.
Oh.
Okay. Now, with the first one, there's possibly 3 answers. Okay. So, number 1, these are white ciders.
Yeah.
Famous white ciders. So, white.
I'm going to go lightning or storm.
Oh, I forgot about storm. But yeah, lightning's one of them. Any more white ones you can remember?
Not with white as the first word. There's one with white as the second word. That might be on your list.
Yes. What's the one with the second word?
Diamond white.
Yes, that's on there. Diamond white. That's number 7.
This is worrying how this is all coming back to me.
So you got lightning.
Yeah.
You could have had one that was very popular called White Star. Now, White Star, when I drank it, they did it in...
I think that was a little bit later.
They did that in glass bottles. And when you took the top off, you'd get this little smoky whiff that came out the top. And if you smelt it quick enough, it was the perfect combination of egg and sick.
Ooh. I'm going to have to go and try and find that now. Is it still available?
Okay. Well, White Star, they don't do... There's another one they did in a glass bottle that I'll get to. But they're all in plastic bottles now, which ruined it a little bit. So you got White Lightning. You could have had White Star. Or there was one a bit later that I never drank that became very popular with students called White Ace. And I think you still see it around sometimes. Yeah. Looks very cheap.
Again, it sounds like nothing we cut our teeth on.
No. Now, number 2, Frosty
Jacks.
Yes. Now, did you ever try a Frosty Jacks?
Yes, many, many times.
Very chewy.
It was the first of the white ciders to come out in a 3-litre bottle, I believe.
Oh, do you remember the month in 1998 that this was?
Yes, I was wearing my purple jeans at the time. You're
right. They went straight for the 3-litre, didn't they, Frosty Jacks?
Yeah. Well, do you remember all white cider when it first came out was 8.2%, and then they dropped it all down to 7.4.
Yeah.
But produced a second line called Super that were the 8.2%.
Yeah, I looked into that. It was something to do with tax. Like if they dropped the alcohol, they paid less tax on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frosty Jacks was made by the Aston Manor Brewery down in Birmingham, and that was a particularly sort of chewy one.
Yeah.
Ice. I don't know if you had this out up your way. We did.
Oh, now then.
It's mythical beast.
Mythical beast. Ice Mama. Ice Dragon.
Did you ever try that one?
No, I've never heard of it.
Bit of a random one. Did you ever have, this is number 4, Special...
Red?
Yes. Special Red was quite an elite one. It cost a bit...
Yeah.
And it had actually seen an apple. And they also did this in glass bottles, and it had a red S on it. The next one was white again, which is, you got White Lightning. Now, number 6, Great.
Great. It's not going to be Great White, is it?
Yeah.
I don't think I've had Great White, but
it was one of my favourites. I remember.
Look at his happy little face.
Convincing my mum that it tastes like champagne, and she was definitely overpaying for any sort of prosecco or champagne, and got her to drink it out of a wine glass, really cold. Great White.
Great White.
So you already got Diamond White. Oh, now number 8. This was a particular favourite. I think they did a strong version, but we used to drink the 5% version.
Stormer.
Of course, Barnstormer. And it had a great picture of a plane
about
firing bullets into
a shed.
Into a shed, didn't it? But they do Barnstormer Black Can. They did the 5%, and then they did the Barnstormer Black Can.
I'm sure Barnstormer had a tagline, like Pulse was white cider with rhythm. I'm sure Barnstormer had a...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Something about fucking dam busters or something.
Oh, you've answered number 10 question already there, because I was going to ask you which cider said on the bottle with rhythm, and it was Pulse.
Pulse.
Yeah, because you used to say that it stops your pulse if you drank 2 litres of it.
Yeah.
Pulse was particularly chewy as well. It was in them green flimsy plastic bottles we used to get from booths. And I remember, like, out of all the white ciders, that and Frosty Jacks, but Pulse was a little bit, there was a good chance you're going to be sick off Pulse, I thought. Last one. Which white cider was named after a famous airship? And you bought this a couple of times.
Oh, Zeppelin.
Yeah. There was one more that I've remembered as well since. I don't know if you remember drinking Omega. Do you remember Omega?
Yeah, I remember Omega. That was another green bottle, green label with a silver Omega symbol on it.
Yeah.
I said I'm never going to get any of these.
Oh, yeah. I remember the Omega.
The fucking
33% extra normally on that 3-litre bottle. It was.
Burned into your retinas.
But there's so many.
There was one that was in a black can with a red K on it. It was just called K.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was...
That was one you'd get in clubs, that.
Yeah, K cider. That was, again, it was a bit like Special Red, where it costs a little bit more than the others, and
Or it comes from Apple.
There was a rumor was that it came from Apple, because these white ciders, I mean, if you think about a cider, how can it be white? How come there's no colour of any?
Oh no, I think I read somewhere Belgian grape extract, I think it was.
Yeah, or they just pound the apple skin down to such a nothingness.
Yeah.
And then they use it as some sort of slight base.
I think I think after they've made white wine, maybe, and the grapes are absolutely useless and there's nothing left in them.
Yeah.
They get shipped off to the people to make white cider out
But
of.
It really took off, didn't it? And then it was called tramp juice, and there's a few you can still buy it, but I think when I tasted this Crumpton Oaks black one, you get used to things tasting like much better now.
Yeah.
And this stuff,
I can remember how it tasted. It had a kind of almost like a sulphurous taste about it.
Yeah, like that. Like I said, with that White Star, it smelled like egg and sick. But this stuff doesn't taste any better, and I don't. You'd really sort of question why anyone would want to drink it. Do you know what I mean?
So it's not going to get finished, that bottle, then?
No, definitely not. I think I'm going to use to clean the toilet with it.
That's about it, I think.
Oh yeah, I just on a sad note, I'd just like to dedicate this podcast to our cat that died this week, Kitty Green.
Oh.
She was about 11 or 12, a house cat, generally, but been going out a lot this summer. We've had a new extension, and she's found her feet, and she was traveling, she was exploring the woods and stuff.
Yeah,
a beautiful pet, and got a load of pictures done, like because you can send off to free prints and get packs for free, and we found every single picture, like whatever mood you're in or whatever state you're in, hungover or distressed or stressed from work, this cat would just come and sit by you and just sort of, it managed to sense your mood. You've got cats, haven't you?
Yeah.
Sense your mood. Beautiful creature, lovely creature.
Yeah, we were both really sad when you said that the other day.
Looked like a miniature sort of Black Panther, looked like Bagoo out of the Jungle Book or something,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, mate. I'll give you a shout when I've had to think about some drinks for next time, and we'll.
Yeah, we did quite a few series in this one, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I didn't get round to Invasion, but I'd like to have a go at that because I like the look of that.
Yeah, it's very good.
And a horror film, because I'll find someone that can watch that with me.
Yeah. Will Karen not have horror films?
She won't be too keen, but Alana will watch one with me. Definitely.
Ah, well, there you go.
15-year-old girl doesn't flinch at anything like that. Where I'm shitting my pants. I couldn't watch Stranger Things, could I? So
you didn't like the lights going on and off, did you?
No, I didn't like Winona Ryder. She kept answering the phone. There was no one there, and then the lights kept turning on and off, and I was like, I can't cope with this. That was episode 1, I think.
All right, mate.
Right, cheers, Mike.
All right,
see you later.
Bye.